The first thing my son heard that evening wasn't my voice. It was the news anchor saying my name. Authorities say retired Portland engineer Gerald Hadley saved at least 6 people after rushing into a chain reaction crash outside PDX airport. Witnesses say he ignored repeated warnings and climbed into burning vehicles while waiting for firefighters to arrive. My son dropped his phone. My daughter stopped chewing halfway through dinner, and just 2 hours earlier they had both told me to take an Uber. The name's Gerald Hadley, 68 years old, a retired civil engineer out of Portland, Oregon. I've never been one for the spotlight. Welcome back to True Revenge Stories. I'm glad you're here with me today. If stories like this one stay with you long after they're over, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and gave this a like it means more than you know. Before we go further, I want to ask, is this your first time sitting down with one of these stories, or have you been along for the ride for a while? Drop it in the comments. I love knowing who's in the room. One thing to keep in mind, some details in this story have been shaped for the purpose of storytelling, and any resemblance to specific real people or events is coincidental. What matters most is the truth at the heart of it. For 42 years, my wife Carol handled birthdays, holidays, neighborhood gatherings, and family dinners. Me, I was happiest patching a leaky faucet, putting up a bookshelf for the grandkids, or smoking ribs on a quiet Sunday afternoon. Carol always said I was the kind of man people leaned on because I never made a fuss. Maybe she was right. Or maybe I just never wanted the people I loved to feel the weight of what I was carrying. That habit would eventually become my greatest mistake. 3 days before everything fell apart, I stood beside my wife's casket in Victoria. Carol had spent the last several months there with her younger sister after her cancer turned aggressive. The treatments available in Canada offered one final window of hope, and her sister had insisted on caring for her day and night. I made the trip back and forth as often as I was able. Every visit grew harder, every farewell stretched longer. Then one rainy Tuesday morning, there were no more farewells, only silence. The funeral was modest, exactly how Carol wanted it. No lavish flowers, no long speeches, just family, a handful of lifelong friends, and the soft music she'd always loved. When the others filtered out, I stayed beside her grave until the cemetery groundskeeper came over and gently let me know they were closing up. "You're welcome to come back tomorrow," he said. I managed a smile. "I know, but tomorrow already feels like another lifetime." The following morning, I boarded a short flight home to Portland. I carried one worn duffel bag. My wedding ring still sat on my finger where it belonged. I couldn't picture ever taking it off. For most of that flight, I kept my eyes on the window. Clouds rolled beneath us like drifts of fresh snow. Carol used to reach across the armrest whenever we flew together. Turbulence always rattled her nerves. She'd grip my hand and murmur, "If we make it through this flight, you're buying me fish and chips?" It always made me laugh. Now the seat beside me sat empty, and that emptiness hurt more than I have words for. The plane touched down at PDX a few minutes before 5. While the other passengers stood and reached for their bags, I stayed in my seat. There was no reason to rush. No one was waiting. Even so, I opened the family group chat. It included me, my son Derek, my daughter Paula, Derek's wife Trudy, and a few family members who mostly shared birthday photos and holiday plans. I typed, "My flight lands at 5:00 p.m. Can someone pick me up?" I stared at the screen for nearly a full minute before hitting send. Part of me almost deleted it. I've never been comfortable asking for favors, least of all for my own children. The message showed as delivered. A minute passed. Then Derek replied, "We're busy. Take an Uber." "How was the funeral? Are you okay?" 6 words spread across 2 messages. Before I'd finished processing them, another notification came through. "Paula, Dad, you should have planned better." I sat with those words far longer than I should have. Planned better. As if grief runs on a timetable. As if losing the woman I'd loved since I was 24 could be squeezed neatly into the gaps between soccer practice and business calls. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I could have reminded them where I'd just been. I could have told them their mother had been in the ground less than 24 hours. I could have said how desperately I wanted to see familiar faces, instead of climbing into another stranger's car. Instead, I wrote just 2 words. "No worries." I hit send. Then I slipped the phone into my jacket pocket. Not because things were fine, but because something had quietly settled in me. You cannot make people care. Outside the terminal, Portland met me with gray skies and cool, damp air. A light drizzle silvered the sidewalks. Travelers moved in hurried streams toward waiting cars. Families embraced. Children laughed. Horns sounded. The world kept moving indifferent and steady. Only mine had stopped. I wheeled my bag toward the rideshare pickup area. My knees ached not from age, from exhaustion. I hadn't managed more than 3 hours of sleep a night in weeks. While I waited, I noticed an elderly woman struggling to wrestle her suitcase off the curb. Without thinking twice, I walked over. "Need a hand?" She looked up with visible relief. "Would you?" I lifted it into the trunk of her son's SUV. "Thank you," she said. "I hope someone does the same for you someday." I gave her a quiet smile. "I hope so too." Then a thunderous crash shattered the moment. Metal against metal, glass exploding outward, people screaming. Every head snapped toward the airport exit road. A fuel delivery truck had jackknifed after a speeding SUV slammed into it. Several cars plowed into the wreckage. Smoke churned up into the evening sky. One sedan spun sideways and hammered into the concrete barrier. Another vehicle caught fire. People froze where they stood. Some raised their phones. Others backed away. Before I retired, I'd volunteered with emergency preparedness programs, earthquake drills, industrial accident training. Instinct moved faster than fear. I dropped my bag. A hand closed around my arm. "Sir, don't go over there." I pulled free. "Call 911. "They already did." Good. I ran anyway. The driver's door of the burning sedan wouldn't budge. A young mother inside was hammering at the window with both fists. A little girl was crying in the back seat. Gasoline hung heavy in the air. Someone behind me shouted that it was going to explode. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, those people couldn't afford to wait. I grabbed a chunk of broken concrete from the roadside. With everything I had left in me, I swung it against the side window. Once, twice, 3 times. The glass finally gave way. "Cover your face," I called out. The mother pulled the little girl close as I knocked away the remaining shards. Sirens wailed somewhere behind me, but still far off. Too far. And the only thing in my head was one simple thought. Carol would never forgive me if I stood there and watched someone else lose the person they loved. The first officer who reached me grabbed my shoulder and shouted over the chaos. "Sir, step back. We need you behind the barricade." "I can't," I said, pointing toward an overturned SUV. "There's still someone inside." The officer looked where I was pointing. A hand was pressed flat against the cracked windshield. He didn't hesitate. "You," he shouted to 2 firefighters sprinting toward us. "Help him!" Only then did I notice how badly my hands were trembling. The adrenaline had buried everything else until that moment. I could feel cuts across both palms from the broken glass. My right sleeve was scorched where the flames had caught the doorframe. My knees ached from kneeling on broken asphalt, but none of it mattered. The firefighters wrenched open the SUV, while paramedics rushed to the sedan I'd helped open. Somebody behind me yelled, "The little girl is breathing!" I closed my eyes for one brief second. Thank you, Carol. Nearly 45 minutes later, the scene was finally under control. Emergency vehicles ringed the entire airport entrance. Traffic backed up for miles. A police officer came toward me with a clipboard. "Sir, your name?" "Gerald Hadley." "Age?" "68." He looked at me for a long moment. "You should probably be in one of those ambulances." "I've had worse." He almost smiled. "My wife says every man over 60 says exactly that." The word wife landed on me like a second collision. I gave a quiet nod. "I just buried mine yesterday." His expression fell. I'm sorry." "So am I." He lowered the clipboard. "I'll keep this brief." Over the next 20 minutes, I answered his questions. Which vehicle had I reached first? How many passengers had I helped out? Had I seen what caused the crash? Witnesses kept cutting in. "No officer," one woman said firmly. "He's leaving things out." "What do you mean?" "He went back." Another man spoke up. "3 different times," a college student added. "Everyone else was standing there filming. He kept running back in." I shook my head. "There were firefighters there." "Not at first," the student said. "They got there because you bought everyone time." I didn't know what to say to that. I hadn't been keeping track. I'd simply seen people who needed help. A paramedic eventually persuaded me to sit on the back step of an ambulance while she tended to my hands. She looked about the same age as my granddaughter. "Is there someone coming to pick you up?" I nearly laughed. "No, I'm sure I'll manage." She wrapped fresh bandages around both palms. You have family nearby? I do. Have they been notified? They're busy. She studied my face for a moment, but was too professional to push further. Instead, she handed me a bottle of water. I hope someone gives you a ride home. So do I. A television reporter approached with a cameraman in tow. Mr. Hadley. Yes, I'm Naomi Castile with KGW News. Would you be willing to answer a few questions? I really don't think so. You've become the central witness to all of this. I'm not interested. What if people want to thank you? They don't need to. The cameraman let his equipment drop. Naomi softened her voice. We've spoken to the firefighters. They said several people would likely have died if you hadn't acted. I looked out toward the pulsing emergency lights. I'm glad they're alive. That's all you want to say? Yes. She gave a slow, respectful nod. Fair enough. She turned away without pressing further. I was grateful for that. Carol always admired people who treated no as a complete answer in itself. Because the airport roads had become completely gridlocked, the police drove me to a nearby hotel where stranded travelers were being directed. One of the officers wouldn't hear otherwise. You shouldn't be out wandering tonight. It's only a few miles from my house and the roads are closed. He had a point. I checked into a modest room less than 10 minutes from the airport. Nothing elaborate, just a quiet space with cream-colored walls, a small television, and a window overlooking the courtyard. For the first time all day, the world went quiet. I set Carol's travel bag on the dresser. Tucked inside was the gray cardigan she'd insisted on bringing, even though she never wore it. It still carried a faint trace of her perfume. I sat on the edge of the bed and held it. That was when I finally broke down. Not because of the crash, not because my hands were torn up, but because there would never again be a text from Carol, asking whether I'd landed safely. Across town, my children had no idea where I was. Derek had just finished dinner with his wife Trudy and their teenage son. Paula was at the kitchen table, helping her youngest daughter push through a science project. Neither had turned on the news. Derek glanced at the family group chat. Dad hadn't responded after sending, "No worries." Trudy frowned. "Did your dad make it home all right? I'm sure he grabbed an Uber." "You could have picked him up," Derek exhaled. "I had a client dinner." Trudy didn't push back. She simply nodded, but her expression stayed with him longer than he would have liked. About an hour later, Derek's phone started going off. First his neighbor, then a college friend, then a former coworker, and finally his boss. "Derek." "Yeah, I just saw something on television. Is your father Gerald Hadley?" Derek's brow creased. "Yeah. You need to turn on Channel 5. "What happened?" "Just turn it on." The call ended. Derek reached for the remote. The airport accident was already dominating the broadcast. Helicopter footage filled the screen, smoke-fire ambulances. Then the camera tightened its frame. A gray-haired man in a dark jacket was hauling himself through the shattered window of a burning sedan. Derek leaned forward. "No," Trudy whispered. The news anchor pressed on. Authorities say retired Portland resident Gerald Hadley entered dangerous crash zones multiple times before first responders had fully secured the scene. The shot cut to me standing beside an ambulance, blood running down my sleeve. The reporter's voice continued over the image. Witnesses described Hadley as strikingly composed despite the chaos surrounding him. Trudy turned slowly toward her husband. "Wasn't that—" Derek couldn't get a word out. His throat had shut entirely. On the other side of the city, Paula got almost the same call. Her friend Connie offered exactly one sentence. "I think your dad's on every television station in Portland." Paula let out a nervous laugh. "What? Are you serious?" She clicked on the television. A few seconds later, her hand went to her mouth. The footage cycled again and again. Then the producers put up a screenshot drawn from the family group chat, part of the timeline investigators had pieced together through airport security records. Mr. Hadley had reportedly flown in from Canada earlier that evening after attending his wife's funeral. Paula's eyes filled with tears. Her mother. She had been so buried in deadlines, the children's schedules, the relentless motion of daily life. She hadn't stopped once to imagine what that solitary flight home must have felt like for him. Then another image came up on screen, me moving alone through the airport terminal with one worn duffel bag. No one there to meet me. Paula whispered, "Oh, Dad." My phone lay face down on the hotel nightstand. I hadn't glanced at it once. I didn't register the buzzing. Didn't see the missed calls. Didn't notice the stream of text messages arriving in waves. For the first time in years, everyone was trying to reach me. I woke just before 6:30 the next morning. For a few still seconds, I forgot. Forgot I was in a hotel and not my own bed. Forgot Carol was gone. Forgot about the airport. Then I reached toward the other side of the bed. My hand found nothing but cold sheets. Everything rushed back at once. I sat there a long while, watching through the window as the Portland sky shifted slowly from gray to pale blue. The television stayed off. I had no desire to see myself on the news. I'd spent 40 years solving problems in the background. Recognition had never been something I sought. Carol used to tease me about it. "You'd rescue the whole neighborhood," she'd say, then slip out before anyone could say thank you. She wasn't wrong. My phone kept buzzing. I finally picked it up. 43 missed calls. Dozens of text messages. Derek, Paula, Trudy. Neighbors, former colleagues, even people I hadn't heard from in years. Derek's first message read, "Dad, where are you?" The second, "Please call me. I'm sorry." Paula's messages weren't far off. "Dad, please answer. We're worried. Please don't be alone." I looked at the screen and set the phone back down. Not out of spite, not because I wanted anyone to hurt. I simply wasn't ready. There are moments when grief leaves no space for conversation. This was one of those. Around 8:00 there was a knock at the door. When I opened it, I found the young reporter from the night before Naomi Castile. She looked almost sheepish. "I'm sorry to intrude. How did you find me?" "The officer who brought you here didn't say a word. The hotel manager recognized you from the morning news." "I see. I'm not here to put a microphone in your face, I promise." I believed her. "Then what do you want?" She paused. "The hospital asked if I'd pass something along to you." "The hospital? The little girl, the one you pulled from the sedan?" My stomach clenched. "Is she—" Naomi smiled. "She's going to be fine." I closed my eyes. Thank God. "Her parents wanted you to know she keeps asking about the man who broke the window." A laugh slipped out before I could hold it back. "I imagine they've told her not to go climbing through broken windows herself." Naomi smiled again. "They'd also like you to visit sometime." "Maybe I will." She turned to go, then looked back. "There are about 20 reporters outside." I sighed. I assumed. "They don't know you're here. Let's keep it that way." "You have my word." She walked off down the hall. For the first time since all of this had begun, I felt there was still such a thing as decent journalism. Meanwhile, Derek hadn't slept. Neither had Paula. By 7 that morning, they were both standing outside my house, the house they had each grown up in, the house Carol had loved. Derek used the emergency key I'd given him years back to let them in. Inside, everything was exactly as it had always been. Carol's favorite armchair still faced the front window. My old tool belt hung neatly beside the garage door. The smell of fresh coffee was nowhere. For more than 40 years, Carol had put a pot on before I ever stirred. Now the kitchen carried a hollow feeling that neither of them had words for. Paula walked quietly to the dining room. A small vase still sat at the center of the table. Inside were dried rosemary sprigs. "Their anniversary," she murmured. Derek looked over. "What? Mom always puts something in that vase before their anniversary?" Neither of them spoke for nearly a minute. The silence inside that house pressed down heavier than anything either could have said. "We should tidy up before Dad gets home," Paula said at last. Derek nodded. It was something to do with their hands, besides think. While Paula was dusting the bookshelves in the living room, she spotted an old cedar chest tucked beneath the staircase. She paused. "I've never noticed this before." Derek came over. "It's Mom's." The lid wasn't locked. Inside, photo albums, folded letters, and 6 leather-bound journals. Each one had a year written carefully across the front in Carol's handwriting. Paula lifted the most recent one. "I don't think we should read this." Derek looked away. "I think Mom would have wanted us to." He wasn't certain. Neither was she. Even so. Paula eased the journal open. The first several pages held ordinary things, family dinners, vacation ideas, birthday notes. Then the entries shifted. One stopped them both cold. "Gerald sold his fishing boat today. Derek thinks we still have it." I begged Gerald not to tell him why. He put every dollar toward the down payment on Derek's first house. Derek would never accept it if he knew. Derek's face drained of color. "No?" Paula turned to another page, another entry. Paula's divorce attorney needed another payment today. Gerald quietly took money from the retirement account. He came home smiling and told the children we'd been thinking about downsizing anyway. Sometimes love disguises itself as an offhand remark to bury a sacrifice. Paula covered her mouth. I actually thought they wanted a smaller house. Derek sat down slowly. So did I. They kept reading, page after page, year after year. Every journal held another quiet act of giving. Gerald had taken on consulting work after retirement, not because he was restless, but because Derek's business had nearly gone under. Gerald had put off replacing his worn-out truck because Paula's oldest daughter needed braces. Gerald had skipped vacations because tuition kept climbing. Not once had he breathed a word of complaint. What's coming next changed everything. Not with a confrontation, not with raised voices, but with a discovery so quiet it hit harder than any argument could. Before we get there, I want to ask you something. If someone you loved had been silently sacrificing for you for years, without saying a word, would you want to know? Or would you rather have been left in the dark? Not once had he asked to be repaid. Then Paula came across an entry written only 4 months earlier. She read it aloud, her voice breaking. The doctors in Victoria believed there was one more treatment worth trying. Gerald insisted we pursue it. He withdrew nearly everything remaining in our retirement savings that day. He was smiling when he signed the papers, but I know exactly what it cost him. If I don't survive, I pray the children never mistake his silence for indifference. Beneath that quietness is the largest heart I've ever known. Derek leaned forward, both elbows on his knees. His shoulders started to shake. I thought... His voice gave way. I thought Dad was just careful with money. Paula wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand. So did I. Neither of them had ever wondered why I kept driving a 12-year-old pickup, or why I wore the same winter coat year after year, or why I always said I was doing just fine. They'd taken it at face value because acceptance demands far less of a person than curiosity does. Around noon, Trudy arrived with sandwiches. She read the room the moment she walked in. What happened? Derek passed her one of Carol's journals. She made it through 3 pages. Then she settled quietly beside her husband. I'm so sorry. Derek kept his eyes on the floor. I told him to take an Uber. Trudy took his hand. I know. My mother had just been buried. I know. I didn't even ask if he was all right. Trudy held his fingers. What matters now is what you do next. Derek glanced toward the front door. I don't even know where he is. Across the city, I was sitting alone on a bench overlooking the Willamette River. The breeze carried the scent of the water. Carol had loved this spot. She used to say the ferries reminded her that life was always carrying someone home. I smiled to myself sadly. Then my phone rang again. This time I picked up. Hello? For a long moment, Derek couldn't find his voice. When he finally did, it came through in 4 words, barely above a whisper. Dad, come home. Derek's voice stayed with me long after the call ended. Dad, come home. 4 words, words I'd needed to hear 24 hours earlier, words that had come a little too late. I hadn't hung up on him, hadn't raised my voice, hadn't even asked what had changed. I just said, I'm not ready yet. Then I ended the call not to punish him, but to protect myself. There are times when your heart has been pulled so thin that even forgiveness needs a little room before it can breathe. I spent the afternoon drifting along Portland's waterfront. The ferries moved slowly across the Willamette River, carrying commuters who looked just like they had any other weekday. People pressed toward meetings. Tourists raised their cameras. Street musicians worked the corners near the Portland Saturday market. Life doesn't stop because one family is falling apart. Carol understood that better than most. Whenever hard things came, she'd press my hand and say, The world keeps turning, Gerald. We have to decide whether we'll keep walking with it. I wasn't sure I knew how to anymore. Every corner of Portland carried something of her. The bakery where she always had to stop for cinnamon rolls. The bookstore she'd wander into for an hour and emerge from carrying 3 novels she swore she didn't need. The little seafood place overlooking the water where we'd marked our 40th anniversary. Every memory was beautiful. Every memory was its own kind of pain. My phone rang again. It wasn't Derek this time. It was Naomi Castile, the reporter. Yes. I thought we agreed no interviews. We did. So why are you calling? Oh, pause. Because I'm not calling for television. I waited. The mayor wants to present you with an award. I'm not interested. I figured. The governor's office also reached out. No. The fire department. No. The hospital. I already know the little girl survived. She did. Another pause. There's one more request. What is it? I'd like to tell this story correctly. I smiled despite myself. Correctly. Right now, every station is calling you a hero. I don't feel like one. I know. Then why interview you? Because people are guessing. I stayed quiet. They're inventing stories about why you were at the airport alone. They don't need to know. I think they do. Why, because loneliness is something a lot of people understand. That stopped me. She continued, her voice careful. My father died alone in a nursing home during COVID. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. I never got to say goodbye. I'm truly sorry. I've spent 4 years wishing for one more conversation. Neither of us spoke for a moment. Then she asked, would you consider one interviews? No politics. Never. No dramatic music. She laughed softly. I promise. No going after my children. I wouldn't allow it. I thought about Carol. She believes stories should heal when they can. One interview. Thank you. One condition. Anything. If I don't like a question, I don't answer it. Exactly. The interview took place the following morning in a quiet conference room at OHSU Hospital. No audience, no harsh studio lights, just 2 chairs. A small camera, Naomi and me. Before they started filming, she looked over and smiled. Nervous. A little. So am I. That made me laugh. Good. The producer counted down. 3, 2, 1. The camera light went red. Naomi began. Mr. Hadley, millions of people have watched the footage from the airport. I've heard they're calling you brave. I think the firefighters were brave. They say you ran toward danger while everyone else ran the other way. I saw people who needed help. Weren't you afraid? I looked down at my bandaged hands. Of course. So why keep going back? I thought about Carol. 42 years together. Hospital's chemotherapy. Long nights holding her hand while she slept. When you've spent 42 years loving one person, my voice caught, fear stops mattering as much. Naomi didn't interrupt. You spend enough time watching someone fight for their life. I swallowed hard. And you stop asking whether something is dangerous. You start asking whether someone needs you. The room went very still. Even the cameraman dropped his gaze. Naomi moved carefully to the next question. We understand you'd just come back from Canada. Yes. You buried your wife? I did. I'm sorry. Thank you. She paused, then asked the question that shifted everything. Did your family know you were coming home? I understood exactly what millions of people watching would be wondering. This was the moment. I could have read out those text messages word for word. I could have let the whole country sit in judgment of my children. Instead, I smiled. They have busy lives. Naomi waited. I went on. They're raising families. They're working. They're trying to balance more than I ever had to at their age. So they couldn't come. I gave a small shrug. Life gets complicated. She watched me for several seconds. You don't sound angry. I've carried enough sadness this week. There was no reason to pile anger on top of it. The interview wrapped shortly after that. Naomi stood and quietly pulled me into a brief embrace. I hope my dad would have answered like that. I hope he'd have had the chance. She blinked away a tear before heading toward the control room. By noon, the interview was airing across Oregon, then Washington, then California. By evening, it was being shared across the country, not because of the rescue, but because of one sentence. They have busy lives. Comment sections erupted. Thousands of people wrote that those 5 words stung more than any open accusation could have. One woman posted, my father says this every single time I forget to call him. Another wrote, I just booked a flight to see my parents. A retired Marine commented, the strongest men are usually the quietest. The interview reached millions. Derek watched it alone in his office. When I smiled and defended him on screen, he put his face in his hands. I don't deserve that, he whispered. Paula watched from her living room. Her youngest daughter crawled up onto the couch beside her. Mom, why is Grandpa saying nice things? Paula couldn't find the words. Her daughter looked up, genuinely puzzled. If someone hurt my feelings, she said with the simple honesty only a child can manage, I don't think I'd protect them. Paula cried harder. Most adults wouldn't. That was what made my answer so painful. That evening, my front porch filled up with flowers. Neighbors left handwritten notes. Veterans set small American flags along the walkway. The family next door mowed my lawn without a word spoken. Someone spread fresh mulch through Carol's flower beds. Nobody rang the bell. They simply showed up and helped. Across the street, old Mr. Whitford told his television crew, "Gerald's been looking after this neighborhood for 30 years." The reporter asked what he meant. Mr. Whitford replied, "He fixed roofs. After storms, checked in on widows during snowstorms, never took a dime." Did anyone know? Mr. Whitford smiled a little sadly. Gerald wasn't the kind of man who announced his kindness. Late that night, I finally drove home. The house looked the way I'd left it, except for one thing. On the front porch sat two lawn chairs. Derek was in one, Paula was in the other. Neither had a phone out. Neither said anything when I climbed out of my truck. They simply stood up and waited. For the first time in years, they had nowhere else they needed to be. For a few seconds, none of us moved. Derek on the left side of the porch, Paula on the right. The porch light threw long shadows across the yard, and somehow my children looked younger standing there. Not from any overnight change, but because something I hadn't seen on their faces in years was back. Uncertainty. Parents pour most of their lives into erasing that look. We walk our kids through bikes, car keys, checkbooks, hard choices. Then one morning they're capable and confident, and you find yourself quietly hoping they haven't completely forgotten how to lean on you. I grabbed my worn duffel bag from the truck. Derek was already moving. "Dad let me get that." I met his eyes. Part of me wanted to refuse, but I let go of the strap. He took it inside without another word. That landed on me. It had probably been 12 years since he'd last carried anything of mine. Paula came toward me slowly, as if she thought moving too fast might make me vanish. I made coffee. I smiled faintly. "Your mother's recipe?" She nodded. "I found it in her cookbook." "Does it taste the same?" She laughed through tears. "Not even close." A smile came to both of us. It was the first genuine one I'd had since Carol died. The house felt familiar again. Neighbors' flowers covered nearly every surface. Cards, letters, homemade cookies. A knitted blanket from the church Carol had attended for years. I moved through it, quietly. "You've been cleaning?" Paula dropped her gaze. "We wanted you to walk into a clean house. It looks nice." Derek drew a slow breath. "We also found Mom's journals." I glanced toward the dining room. "I'd been wondering when that would come." "You knew." "Of course." "You let us read them." "They belong to your mother." He nodded. "We didn't know." "I know." "No, Dad." His voice broke. "I mean, we really didn't know." I understood exactly what he meant. The three of us sat at the dining room table, the same one where Carol had set out Thanksgiving dinner for 4 decades. No television, no phones, 3 cups of coffee. Paula opened her purse and laid one of Carol's journals on the table between us. "I've read every page." "So have I," Derek said quietly. Neither looked at me. Derek spoke first. "I thought you took those jobs because you liked staying active. I like keeping busy. But that's not the real reason. No. You were covering my mortgage. You needed help. You gave up your boat. It was only a boat. It was Grandpa's boat." I smiled. "The memories stayed with me." Derek shook his head. "I'd never have taken that money." "I know. Then why not tell me?" "Because your burden wasn't meant to become mine to carry as well." Silence returned to the room. Paula wiped her cheek. "I thought you were ready to scale back. Your mother wanted to protect your dignity after the divorce." "I'd have found a way." "You found one for me?" I nodded. She hid her face. "I kept thinking about that text." I said nothing. "Dad, you should have planned better." Her shoulders began to shake. "I actually wrote that." "You did." "I'd give anything to take it back." I reached across and laid my hand over hers. "You can't." She looked up at me. "But you can choose who you become from here." Derek got up and crossed to the kitchen window. He stood staring into the backyard. "I've been trying to work something out. What when that reporter asked whether we knew you were heading home?" "Yes." "You could have burned us completely. You could have told the whole story to the world. I could have. So what held you back?" Carol came to mind the way she always did. She was at the root of every answer I found. Because shaming people in public doesn't mend what's broken in private. Neither spoke. I went on. "If millions of strangers had turned on you, would Mom have wanted that?" Derek slowly shook his head. "No. No. Carol always believed that accountability ought to lead somewhere, not just leave wreckage behind." Paula's voice dropped low. "Were you angry?" A quiet laugh left me. "Of course I was. It didn't show. I've had practice." She frowned. "Practice through 42 years of marriage." I smiled. You learn that talking when you're angry just hands you another mess to deal with tomorrow. Derek actually laughed. Mom always said you'd disappear into the garage the second something got under your skin. I sorted screws. Paula stared. What? The coffee cans. The ones labeled 1-4 and 1-2 and through 4 and Derek smiled. You weren't really organizing. No. Then what were you doing? Waiting until I could speak without causing damage. Quiet settled again. Paula whispered, I wish I'd known that sooner. It's never too late. A few days later, we drove to the cemetery together. Carol's ashes rested in the memorial garden above the Columbia River, exactly where she'd wanted them. The three of us stood holding fresh white carnations. Derek finally spoke. I'm sorry, Mom. Paula nodded beside him. I never understood how much you two were carrying. A light wind moved through the branches overhead. Part of me half expected Carol to tell us we were all packed in too close. She had a running joke that family photos always improved when everyone gave each other room. Instead, there was only stillness. Full-weighted, quiet, not hollow, but thick with memory. Derek looked over at me. I spent years counting on you always being there. I hoped I would be. It never occurred to me that someday you might need us instead. I set the flowers beside Carol's marker. Most of a parent's life is spent teaching a child to take those first steps. I looked at both of them. The lesson no one warns you about is teaching them to find their way back. Derek fell apart. Both arms came around me and held tight. Not the brief, careful hug grown sons usually manage. It was the grip of a frightened boy who had only just grasped how close he'd come to losing the man who had silently kept everything standing. Paula stepped in beside him. The three of us wept under the tall evergreens while afternoon light filtered through the clouds. It was the first moment since Carol's funeral that the aloneness didn't feel absolute. That evening, Derek surprised me. He canceled a business trip. Paula rearranged her entire work schedule. No announcement from either of them. No waiting for thanks. They simply stayed. We ordered Chinese takeout played cards the way Carol loved. The grandchildren tore through the backyard laughing until the daylight ran out. I watched from the porch. Derek sat beside me. Dad, yes. I can't change what I texted. No. But I can spend the rest of my life making sure you never read anything like it from me again. I looked at my son, then at my daughter out on the lawn with her kids. Most people picture revenge as a score finally settled. But sitting there, what became clear to me was that the deepest answer to being overlooked wasn't punishment. It was watching the people who had stopped seeing your worth begin to recognize it while there was still time. That was what was unfolding. Healing doesn't arrive all at once. It never does. It slips in quietly inside ordinary days, one at a time. A week past Carol's memorial, I was up before sunrise the way I'd been most of my life. For a few seconds, my hand moved to the far side of the bed, out of old habit. Still empty. Some habits outlast the people who shape them. Rather than let the silence close in, I dressed, put coffee on, and stepped out to the back porch. Soft morning light lay across the garden. Carol's roses were in bloom. She used to say they didn't open on account of any skill of hers. They bloom because somebody slows down long enough to notice. I smiled at that. People maybe weren't so different. At exactly 8 Surin, a truck turned into the drive. It was Derek. No emergency, no money needed, no question to ask. He just came up onto the porch carrying 2 cups. Figured yours had gone cold, he said. I laughed. You figured right. He took a seat and let the quiet sit between us. We watched birds move through the grass for a few minutes. Then he broke it. I canceled my Wednesday morning meetings. You didn't need to do that. I know. I wanted to. 4 words that carried more weight than he probably knew. Young children get their parents' time because there's no other way. Once they're grown, offering time is a decision. Derek had finally started making that one. Paula shifted too. She began showing up at the door on Thursday evenings after work. Groceries sometimes. Sometimes a container of soup good, but not Carol's kind of good. She said so herself. I still can't get your wife's chicken noodle soup right. Nobody can. I even used her recipe. I smiled. Your mother had a habit of leaving one thing out. Which thing, Patience? Paula laughed. That's not an ingredient. For her it was. Before long, those Thursday evenings were something all of us looked forward to. No milestone, no occasion, just family at a table together, the way it always should have been. The grandchildren were first to notice something had shifted. One Saturday afternoon, my oldest grandson Owen drifted into the garage and stood looking at the tool-lined shelves. Dad says you built almost everything in this house, most of it. Can you teach me three small words? And they filled something in my chest I hadn't known had gone hollow. We spent the next several hours working side by side, putting together a simple wooden step stool. He measured twice, cut once, missed a nail, laughed, tried again. By the time the sun dipped low, the step stool leaned slightly to one side. It isn't perfect, Owen said. I rested my hand on his shoulder. Neither are families. He looked up at me. But if the foundation is strong, I tapped the little wooden frame. It'll still stand, he smiled. Something told me he'd carry that conversation with him long after the crooked step stool had faded from memory. A month later, the Portland Fire Department invited me to speak at a community emergency preparedness program. I nearly said no. Public speaking had never been my strong suit. Then a saying of Carol's came back to me. If your experience can help someone else, it's no longer just your story. So I said yes. The room held retirees, young parents, college students, and first responders. When my turn came, I didn't dwell on the airport accident. What I talked about instead was preparation, staying calm, learning basic first aid, watching out for your neighbors. Then, near the end of my remarks, a man in the audience raised his hand. What made you run toward those cars? The room went still. I took my time before answering. My wife spent 2 years teaching me something. What was that she taught me? That every extra minute matters? I paused. When someone you love is fighting for their life, you stop pretending someone else will handle it. Several seconds of silence held the room. Then people rose to their feet. Not for me, because they understood. Life slowly settled into a new rhythm. Derek started bringing his family around every Sunday afternoon. Paula stopped calling only when she needed something. Instead, she'd ring just to ask, "What are you up to?" Sometimes the answer was watching baseball, other times fixing the fence or just sitting with thoughts of her mother. Those conversations grew longer, warmer, more genuine. One evening, Derek surprised me again. He pressed a small envelope into my hand. Inside was a receipt. "The retirement account," he said. I looked up at him. "What about it? I'm paying back every dollar you spent helping me." I nudged the envelope back across the table toward him. "You don't owe me a thing. I do." "No, I want to." I smiled. "Then spend it on your children." He frowned. "What?" "Take them camping. Travel somewhere. Make memories together. That's a worthier investment than paying me back." His eyes filled. "You're really not going to let me repay you, are you?" "I already got paid." How you came back. A few months on what would have been Carol's 66th birthday brought the whole family together in the backyard. The grandchildren darted between the rose bushes. Paula made her best attempt at Carol's peach cobbler. It still wasn't quite right. We laughed about it anyway. Derek smoked ribs on a quiet Sunday afternoon exactly the way I'd taught him years before. As the sun began its descent, the voices around me grew quiet. Derek stood and raised a glass of iced tea. "I'd like to say something." No one interrupted. He looked straight at me. "Dad." He drew a slow breath. "For years I thought success meant providing for my family." He glanced toward his wife and son. "I forgot that my family also included the man who spent his whole life providing for me." His voice broke. I can never take back that text message. He looked down a moment before his eyes found mine again. "But I promise you'll never have to wonder whether someone is coming to pick you up." Paula reached over and took my hand. "Neither will you." I looked around the table at my children, my grandchildren at the empty chair we had left there on purpose for Carol. Not because we thought she was physically present, but because love has a way of staying even after goodbye. I smiled. "I think your mother would be happy." Derek gave a soft laugh. "No, she'd be telling us the ribs are burning." Everyone laughed. It felt like something wonderful. Not because the pain had gone anywhere, because joy had finally found enough room to sit right beside it. And that's where this story leaves me grateful. Quieter than I was when I started, and thinking about the people in my own life who never once asked for a receipt. Gerald never advertised what he gave. He sold the things he loved, emptied accounts he'd spent decades filling, and signed papers with a smile while carrying a weight his children never saw. I believe God places people like Gerald in our lives to show us what love looks like when it asks for nothing in return. That kind of quiet sacrifice doesn't make the evening news very often, but it shapes everything. If this story taught me anything, here is what I'd pass on to you. Never measure a parent's love by how loudly they speak. Measure it by what they gave up without mentioning it. If someone you've neglected reaches out, don't wait for a second chance. That chance is not guaranteed. When pride tempts you to repay a debt in dollars, remember, sometimes the only currency that matters is showing back up. And if you've been the one carrying everyone else in silence, your faithfulness is seen, even when the people around you are too busy to notice. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Gerald's story. Leave a comment below whether it stirred something in you, reminded you of someone, or simply gave you a moment to stop and think. If you know someone who needs to hear a story like this one right now, please pass it along. And if you haven't subscribed to True Revenge Stories, yet I hope today is the day you do. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.